All right. Hey, everyone. How's it going? Today, I'm going to just go through a song that I wrote when I was in the quarantine hotel. I put a lot of time and effort into, and just want to share with you a little bit of the behind the scenes, some of the things that I just kind of how the song was put together from the rough demo to actually just getting the song together in the quarantine hotel. Maybe give you a little bit of background about what I was thinking about when I was mixing it, some of the plugins I used. Not that any of this might be particularly interesting, but there's a video series on YouTube from one of my favorite artists. His name is Corey Wong, and he just kind of gives these awesome behind the scenes videos of his songs, how songs are built, and the stories behind them, and so I just wanted to try doing that, just in an effort to try to just do something new and try to figure out how to. It took me, probably 30-40 minutes to figure out how to route the audio to make sure this microphone worked through my computer recording, and then this is working over here, and then the video editing too. So, yeah, I'm gonna get into the song. The song is called "Long Days, Short Years," right? So I'm gonna play you just the first kind of demo snippet I have of the song right here, and you can kind of hear what it sounds like too. So the very first thing that I had, I think, was just this part right here, this guitar part over here. And honestly, I just thought it was something pretty beautiful, just something I was trying to work through on the guitar, and a lot of my songs, just not that I write many songs, but start with melodies like that, right? So just wanting to just write something out to that. Just get through that. Right, and as at my system is my computer kind of can't handle everything that's going on right now, but okay. And then so as I started to kind of play around with that song, that kind of like interesting picking phrase, I started to listen to it again, write some lyrics, try to sing over it, and so this is kind of this first demo that I had of the song right here. So that's me just figuring out the chords, strumming through the chords.
The time it goes and goes, and love's love goes so fast. Where do I go?
Right.
Do I go?
And so it's interesting how that the picking developed into that chord strumming. And kind of just like the end result being kind of a mesh of the two.
The time it moves faster than words can hear.
And that was just me, just listening to it, kind of figuring out, how I want to, is there anything I could really sing over that, and as I was writing some lyrics down, and I was just like thinking some thoughts through the song, I was thinking about a lot of my time that I had in Crossbridge, in Boston, and even in the States too, and how being in the quarantine hotel is very isolating, and trying to reflect back on friendship, right? What does it mean to continue to be friends with someone if you're halfway across the world? How do friendships continue to be maintained, right? There are these days that felt so long and painful and tiring, and yet these years that I had were so short. And so I would just ended up writing a lot of just these lyrics about friendship and relationships and where does time go, and feeling that it's not enough, right? So yeah, that I just start to write down some ideas for the song. Actually, I don't know if they're in here. All right, so you can hear a little bit more of where that ends up going.
For years, the time it goes, and I don't know where to go. Where to go? Yeah, I don't know. And said, oh, don't know which way to find my this. I don't know which way to go. I found my way apart from this. I said, oh.
I think there's definitely something cool in there that I feel I didn't quite get in this song, but man, it's cool to think about. All right, so if I just kind of mute those again, what I originally started with in the song was just recording the guitar for however long. And you can see that there's a few edits here just to clean up some of the mistakes that I made and kind of go through. But yeah, it just starts with this basic guitar track right here. And you can hear the click that goes with it. It's right here. Yeah, playing to a click is something that's super hard for me, but I tried my best to do. And you can kind of see these inflection points where I messed up a little bit, but hopefully you won't be able to tell. You can hear a little bit, right? And over here too as well. But you know, it's there's so much else happening in the song. You can especially tell for the vocal takes over here. There's just so much chopped up in the vocals. But for the guitar, I had the guitar running direct input through the interface, and then also mic'd up with the SM7B, which is this guy right here. Actually, the only thing I had the only thing I used to record was the SM7B, my guitar, and that's it. That's the entire song, and that was actually one of the challenges that I wanted to give to myself as I was planning to write a whole album, but I started to get really uncomfortable, neck and back pain. But I wanted to try to record an entire album, just acoustic guitar, vocals, and just seeing how I can manipulate that in the effects. And I think you'll see that as we get through more and more of the song. But you know, it's just general kind of guitar fare stuff where you have your guitar direct in, you mic your guitar, and then you just pan it left and right, and then it gets a pretty good stereo sound. This is the DI, which sounds pretty good. You hear that over here. And you hear the guitar mic'd up, which also sounds pretty good too. And it has a little bit less body, but when you get it together, you get like a nice stereo effect going on with the mics, right? And so that's the guitar bus right there, and you know, it took a while for me to figure out where the song was going, but you know, we got there with the guitar, so we record that guitar, then the main vocals come in, and really just a lot of takes because I was honestly just figuring out the song as I was going with the vocals, right? I've never actually sat down and written a song. This is probably the first time I've ever just like sat down, wrote the lyrics to map out the song. So I was really figuring it out as I go. Hence all the vocal comps and edits and all these things.
The time it goes and goes, and no one knows where it goes. And moving faster than I can feel or understand. Yeah, I don't know where it goes. Long days, short years.
It's not the best transition. And one of the things I was thinking about was on YouTube there's a series called Professional Musicians React. And reacting to Billie Eilish, and they had a singer on, and the singer said Billie Eilish will like never lose her voice, right? You had like people like Whitney Houston who had these songs that with amazing range, or like Mariah Carey, right? And you know, they continue to sing these songs, but as they get older, you know, as they tour more and more and more, those high points of the song, you just wreck your voice because it's so tiring. But they're like Billie Eilish is a lot of like whispering and a lot of stuff in the low register or just falsetto, which is not hard on your voice at all. And I thought, well, let me try to do something where what I really enjoy when I sing is like getting up there and like getting those super high. Can't sing that high, but just like belting, right? But I think what I was trying to push myself in an uncomfortable way to sing a little bit lower. And so that's why I ended up trying to sing these a little bit lower in the song. Um, it's long, long days and these short years. It's not very high at all, right? And so when I had just
years,
vocals,
long days and those short years, yeah. And I don't know.
And really this song, I was trying to just build various layers of complexity, and things coming in and coming out in each verse and each chorus, and every element and movement of the song being different, right? So what I wanted to do was in verse 1 just establish what's happening in the song. There you can see there's not much going on. There is a single harmony for verse 1, right? It's the long days, short years part.
Those long days, short years, those long days and those short years, yeah.
And if you hear that, actually, that's not super in tune, right? I'm not actually singing very precisely there, and I've panned it hard right, and it's just super reverbed out, right? There's a lot of Valhalla on there. You hear
long days, short years, long days, short years.
And just like purposely keeping it not in tune, right? Purposely keeping it not sounding very good, because there's something I think really interesting and dissonant about how that sounds. So if you hear that in context, right.
Those long days, short years, those long days and those short years, yeah.
You're like, oh, okay, there's something there that's happening, right? And so throughout the song, I just, and then verse 2 starts to add a little bit more stuff happening in there. With there's the oohs, ahs, there's snaps that I was recording, and some of them didn't make the cut. But I'll play that for you right now. And then let's see what else. I don't remember everything that's in here, so
joy and pain and
I think these are some snaps that are in there too.
And tiredness, the aching and the loneliness.
Yeah. These are snaps that I originally had, and I really just crushed the heck out of these. Just added a bunch of these weird, interesting plugins that ended up just not doing too much for the reverb. Here's it. That's how it originally sounds. Then we add a little bit of Brit Crusher to it. So it makes a yeah. And add some echo to it. Add some panning. So it goes between right and left, and then we add the EQ to it. So it becomes a much more subtle effect when you kind of you just get like a hit, and then it just kind of goes around like that, right? But probably the biggest thing where there are a lot of these kind of vocal performances, these vocal things that are just happening here. There's a lot of oohs and ahs. So you'll hear it here. So it'd be like, let me turn on my vocals there, right? Second verse.
Feelings of joy and pain and tiredness, the aching and the loneliness, yeah. They come and go like waves that
right. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. There's just these like pretty basic harmonies here. It's the first one. Yeah, the third one. I guess not harmonies. They're just me doing oohs and ahs, kind of just bringing in a lot of atmosphere into that. Again, yeah, there's some pitch correction on there to make it sound a little bit more robotic, but then if you just if you can, here's what it sounds like. Just just make it a little bit weird, atmospheric, add a lot of reverb. And so, yeah, I just had this da-da-da-da, that kind of idea there. Just throwing in all kinds of weird stuff in there. Yeah. And I think that one of the weirdest things that happened here is kind of this guitar something is right here. Right. So you hear just this. So honestly, all this is all it is. There's this. Before I was just echoing the right, just trying to add, whatever kind of guitar riffs work, and realizing that like this kind of didn't work, and so I found I saw a new plugin, and it's called Shaperbox, which can do all types of just crazy things, but it's filtered. There's some time stuff happening. There's a drive. You see all these things at the bottom here, and it's taking that original kind of thin guitar sound and just running it through a gamut of things and just coming up with this. It's kind of like, so you can hear that noise in there. You can hear just kind of like a little bit of that craziness, that just all that stuff happening in there. And so all of that, verse 2, all of those effects, they end up just adding together to bring like a really cool.
They come and go like waves that are just hitting the. The low tide, those long days and those short years, those long days and those short years.
When you start to add all these effects and components, reverb, what it does to the song, right? And then we continue on to verse 3. And you keep just adding more and more. Oh, also, right, I forgot. There's so many tracks to this. I think I also added some strums in there too.
Loneliness,
yeah, just to bring a little bit of it. Just brought some momentum to right, just bringing that out. Like even just if you just play the guitar, right, just the guitar by itself here, you get a little bit of melody, some rhythm. It's subtle, right? But all these things go together to add things.
Those long days and those short years, those long days and those short years. And I don't know.
These little things just are.
Yeah, I don't
so after,
know.
And then the verse 2, it just kind of settles down a little bit. It settles down, and then it builds up bigger and bigger than it was before. And so I got another Dada's vocal track right here. Check this out, right? It's more of these Dadas right here. All right, let's sing it.
A thread.
Played it from a little earlier.
And friendships fading, hanging, longing like a thread.
So it's just more of the Dadas.
And hanging on it will always be inside of my.
Just da-da-da-da. That's it, right? And then there's a bunch of guitar picking. There's some guitar strumming here. So you have 3 channels of guitar picking. Harmonics. And then strumming too. The second verse was a lot of vocals, but this one just a lot. The big hit is when the guitars come in too. So it's just. There's a lot going on, maybe too much. It's kind of complicated, right? But the what I wanted to do also was just bring in like a guitar solo as well, right? I'm not particularly good at the guitar solo, the picking, the lead guitar stuff, but it's something that I wanted to try in the song as well. So that's what I did. I just like after all that, threw in a guitar solo. So I'll isolate this guitar solo here. So all right. I mean, this is what the guitar solo sounds like without anything added to it. It's in 3 parts because I was figuring it out as I go along, and honestly, it kind of sounds like it's made up in 3 parts, which is fine with me. But what I did with this guitar solo is that there's an electric guitar plugin by one of my favorite artists, Corey Wong, and it's an electric guitar plugin, right? But it has these really cool effects on it. I think specifically this delay effect and maybe this wash too, where it took it and added so much more context to the solo, and then just Ozone Imager just made it super wide, and so that took that guitar solo and just made it. You can hear a lot of overtones, so yeah, that right there. So I thought that on its own kind of made the guitar solo, going through the kind of guitar amp plugin, made it feel a little bit like, well, it's an acoustic guitar running through an electric amp. So I wanted to try to also maintain a little bit of that, the actual acoustic sound. So I just actually literally just duplicated the channel, panned it a little bit left and right, and then just added a bunch of reverb to it. It's Valhalla. And so that's what it sounds like here. So that's everything there, but then it's panned together. You get something really wide and really just, because there's honestly not a ton happening here in this song. It's just vocals and it's guitar when the guitar solo. I mean, it's the guitar. There's picking and then there's the strumming, but that cuts out through the solo.
It will always be. It will always be
always
with me.
And so verse 4, I was honestly just kind of stumped about, like, I don't know what else I can add. And so I cheated a little bit by adding some percussion in here too, but then trying to add back the voices at the end. And I think trying to serve the song too by saying, always with me through the dark and in the night, right? And it's 3 verses of feeling a little bit not so hopeful, right? Where does friendship go? Where does relationships go? And feeling pretty pessimistic about it, but then realizing that, that I had so many of these have so many people around me who cared for me and supported me and got me through hard, tough seasons. And that whether friendships continue or not, that something special happened in those times, and to appreciate that for what it was, right? And trying to reflect that in the vocals, where the things that through the dark and in the night, it's going to be all right. Those long days and the short years, something special is formed, right? Those are just trying to see what is being emphasized over there. And so let me just, it's probably taking too long. It's probably, let me just show you what's going on, what's happening here, right?
And always with me through the dark and in.
So that's cheating by adding a little bit of this. That's just a kick drum that you just tune down a little bit, and then just like a cajon kind of coffee shop sound. I don't know what these guitar O's are. Let's find out. Oh, right. I think that was actually just me trying to like just like pound on my guitar to get that sound. And then I actually just used, just doubled over it with a kick drum too. I think probably that's the most impactful thing over here is probably just these harmonies, these verse 4 harmonies, and just strumming a little bit on guitar. But we'll check out the harmonies first, right?
With me through, always with me through the dark and in the night.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, just having some harmonies in there, and singing an octave higher in falsetto, just I don't know, just make it interesting, right? I think that there's something cool about that, and just having those harmonies throughout.
Knowing if it's with you, we're gonna be alright.
And again, it's imperfect, and I think that actually adds a lot of character to the song, where it sounds kind of messy, it sounds kind of grimy, and that's kind of how I just pictured these relationships being and working, and so there's these harmonies there.
In those long days and those short years, long days and those short years.
Can't tell you what harmonies I was singing, but I also added a little bit of extra strumming in here too. Just giving a little bit of extra stuff, extra data. So guitar, vocals, everything. All right, let's unpack what's going on here. So we have a probably harmonics channel. Yeah, harmonics channel that I just put through. Then we'll have just strumming the chords that are there. That's all it is. And then there's this the plugin that I'm using is just kind of changing the delay and then reversing it. It's a delay, but then it's reverse. So you get the initial attack, and then everything after that is a reverse delay. It might be 2 delays. I think it's just delaying it and reversing the sound and just making it, it's giving it character. So the vocals and the guitar.
Hard days be alright.
Just bring in as much atmosphere as I can to the song.
Long days and those short years, long days and those short years.
Right. So I love listening to that. It's just
always with me through the dark and in the night.
There's just something kind of weird, not great, but just weird about all this together.
Be alright.
Add the guitar back in.
Long days and those short years, long days and those short years. Something special was formed in those hard days.
just even just adding the octave higher vocals makes it
With me through the dark and in the night.
right. There's a lot of reverb on the octave up to just make it kind of fade in the distance, be in the background, but it's cool. I think it just adds a lot of just weird characters.
Knowing if it's with you, we're gonna be alright. In these, the long days and those short years, the long days and those short years.
So that's the song "Long Day Short Years." This is probably the first time any of you are really hearing the song, but yeah, that's kind of taken apart. Just thinking about just a song I wrote in quarantine about friendship extensively, and just figuring out the whole process. Yeah, maybe I'll do these again. I don't know. I enjoyed talking through it and kind of rediscovering some of the cool things that were just happening through the song. I'm just going to go from the beginning of the song to the end and, yeah, just let you hear the whole thing. So here we go. At some point, it will come.
Time it goes and goes, and no one knows where it goes. And moving faster than I can feel or understand. Yeah, I don't know where it goes. Long days, short years. There's long days and those short years. Yeah. I don't know. Feelings of joy and pain and tiredness, the aching and the loneliness, yeah. They come and go like waves that are just hitting the shore. The high tide and the low tide, the high tide and the low tide. Those long days and those short years, those long days and those short years. And I don't know, yeah, I don't know. And friendships fading, hanging, longing like a thread. And hanging on it will always be inside of my head. In those long days and those short years, it's waxing and it's waning, but it will always be. It will always be with me. You will always be. It will always be here with me. And always with me through the dark and in the night. Knowing if it's with you, we're gonna be alright. In these, the long days and those short years, the long days and those short years. Something special was formed in those hard days, those short years, those good days and those short years. Something special was formed.
All right, yeah, that's the song. Hope you enjoyed this video. It's honestly a little bit scatterbrained. It's kind of late at night, but I wanted to put this out. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace.